narrow mountain pass at dawn. Cold air, vertical cliffs rising on both sides. No flanking routes, no escape paths, only one direction forward. And 10 modern Special Forces soldiers holding it. Across the dust-filled corridor, a bronze wall advances. 300,000 Spartans. Locked shields, leveled spears, moving in disciplined silence, step by synchronized step. They do not rush, they do not shout, they march with purpose, every movement measured, every step controlled, a formation perfected through centuries of war. The soldiers settle behind broken stone, black tactical gear against sandy rock. Rifles raised, breathing steady, then the first shot cracks through the mountain air. Gunfire erupts violently inside the confined corridor. The sound multiplies between stone walls, turning every shot into thunder. Yet the Spartan phalanx does not skitter, does not hesitate.
Ammo
Shields
check, good.
tighten, spears
Hold the
remain
line,
steady.
prepare for contact.
The distance shrinks slowly but relentlessly. 10 meters, 8, 6. In a mountain pass this narrow, every single step forward changes the entire geometry of survival. A second crack appears beside the first. Now the defense faces pressure at to separate points. The Spartans remain unified, pushing evenly across the entire front line. Two soldiers pivot to secure the first breach, to shift toward the second. The defensive unit divides into smaller elements, but the advancing phalanx remains one solid, breathing wall. Gunfire intensifies. Muzzle flashes light the dust-filled air. Shell casings scatter across stone. Still the bronze formation moves forward with disciplined consistency, absorbing pressure through sheer density. A fracture forms in the defensive stone barrier. A bronze shield presses hard into the crack. Fine dust begins falling like sand through an hourglass. Pressure builds against ancient rock. Behind the front ranks, thousands of Spartans continue pushing. The weight of numbers compresses the formation tighter, mess converts into forward force. The entire mountain corridor feels the momentum. The stone barrier begins to fail visibly. Fractures widen under sustained pressure. A shield edge breaks through the opening. Spear shafts appear immediately behind it. A Spartan steps fully inside the narrow corridor. Rifle fire flashes at dangerously close range. Dust explodes outward, filling the confined space with swirling particles of stone and sand. The battle is no longer distant. It becomes collision. Bronze shield against broken rock. Spear thrust meeting modern weaponry. The confined pass magnifies every movement, every impact. Another Spartan pushes through the breach, then another. The opening transforms into a steady stream of bronze and discipline. The phalanx begins occupying interior space. The soldiers step backward in controlled motion. One pace, then another. Behind them rises a sheer cliff face. There is no maneuver room left. The shields close to within arm-pass reach, spear tips hover inches from rifle barrels. Breathing grows heavier in the dust-thickened air between both forces. A synchronized surge erupts from the Spartan front. The bronze wall slams forward with collective force. Stone fragments scatter across the ground. Spacing collapses under pressure. The defensive formation begins losing cohesion. The phalanx drives deeper into the corridor, maintaining alignment and relentless forward motion. Now bronze dominates the frame entirely, shield locked to shield. Shoulder pressing into shoulder, no visible gaps. The corridor belongs to the advancing wall. The soldiers are forced deeper into the pass. Boots scrape against uneven rock. Dust clings to black tactical gear. The cliff walls feel closer now, tightening the battlefield into a stone trap. The Spartan phalanx does not break formation. Even inside the narrow corridor, shields remain aligned. Spears project forward in perfect order. Discipline replaces chaos. Gunfire continues, but space is shrinking rapidly. Every backward step reduces defensive angles. Every forward Spartan step multiplies pressure exponentially. The sound changes, no longer distant echoes. Now it is the heavy thud of shield edges striking broken stone. The battle has become physical. A powerful synchronized push ripples through the phalanx. The front rank leans forward as one organism. The corridor trembles under the combined force. The defensive line bends visibly. Spacing between soldiers collapses
Close
further.
ranks!
Shoulder
Tighter formation!
touches shoulder. Retreat becomes constrained by rock and gravity. Spears thrust cautiously between shield gaps. Not reckless, calculated. Controlled, the Spartans advance with ancient precision adapted to confined terrain. The soldier stumbles slightly on loose stone, regains footing instantly. But the phalanx notices weakness.
Push harder, the line
Pressure
is breaking!
increases exactly at that point. The bronze wall advances another half meter. In open terrain, this would be nothing. In this corridor, it changes everything. Gunfire becomes shorter, more controlled. Ammunition is finite. Space is not. The phalanx relies on numbers that do not run dry. The shields are now within inches of rifle barrels. Sparks flash in the dust-heavy air. Breath, metal, stone compressed into one narrow channel. Another unified surge. The Spartan formation absorbs recoil and continues forward. The defensive structure fractures into isolated pockets. Now the corridor belongs mostly to bronze. The soldiers occupy only fragments of space near the cliff face. Sunlight pierces through the breach behind the Spartans. Golden rays cut through suspended dust, illuminating bronze armor in dramatic contrast. The psychological shift begins. This is no longer about firepower. It is about mass occupying terrain. The phalanx compresses forward steadily.
Back!
No
Coordinated
sprint,
fire!
no
Advance!
disorder,
Push them
just
back!
relentless forward geometry. The soldiers attempt to ray anchor against rock, but the cliff behind them removes maneuverability completely. Shield edges scrape along broken stone as Spartans secure more interior space. The corridor narrows visually under bronze pressure. The formation now fills nearly the entire width of the pass. Only thin pockets of resistance remain. Another synchronized forward drive. The defensive line collapses in structure. The phalanx stands fully inside the corridor. The Spartan phalanx now controls nearly the entire corridor. Bronze shields press from wall to wall, forming a seamless barrier of metal and discipline.
Phalanx,
Only
adjust!
fragments of
Shields
defensive
forward!
space remain
Movement
between
on the
the
right
soldiers and the advancing wall. The soldiers attempt to reposition against the cliff face, but the mountain offers no advantage. The vertical rock behind them eliminates maneuver options. Every backward step is final. Gunfire continues in controlled bursts, but the space required for tactical angles no longer exists. The Spartans reduce distance methodically, denying room for repositioning or recovery. A coordinated surge rolls through the front ranks. Shields slam forward with unified weight. The corridor echoes with heavy impact, amplifying every collision of bronze against stone. The defensive structure fractures completely. Individual positions dissolve into isolated reactions. The phalanx remains intact, advancing as a singular organism filling available terrain. Now bronze dominates everything within the pass. Shield edges scrape along rock walls. Spear shafts remain aligned above them. The formation moves with mechanical consistency. Sunlight intensifies through the broken breach behind the Spartans. Golden beams illuminate drifting dust, outlining the advancing wall in dramatic contrast against the narrowing corridor.
They're pushing the breach!
The remaining defensive
Copy. Holding
presence
steady.
compresses
Press forward.
against
Shields
stone.
locked.
Movement becomes restricted 2 inches. Every sound breathing, boots, scraping metal feels magnified within the tight mountain trap. Another unified forward push. The bronze line advances decisively, claiming the final interior space. The corridor no longer belongs to the defenders. The phalanx stabilizes briefly. Shields still locked, formation unbroken. Even after the breach, discipline does not collapse. Order remains absolute. Dust slowly begins to settle in the golden sunrise light. The mountain pass appears smaller now, completely filled by aligned shields reflecting warm beams. The Spartans resume forward motion, controlled and steady, deeper into the narrow corridor. The rhythm of synchronized steps replaces the earlier chaos of gunfire. From within the drifting dust, the bronze formation appears almost continuous, stretching beyond the visible frame. Numbers extend far beyond what the eye can measure. The narrow pass that once offered defensive advantage has transformed into a compression chamber where density determines control. Geography decided the outcome. As the Phalanx advances toward open terrain beyond the gorge, the final image remains clear. In a confined battlefield where maneuver disappears, disciplined mess becomes unstoppable.